TikTok is about to disappear. Oh dear, in the United States. Or is it? What kind of? You say they imposed a new law when, basically got all ticked off and what have you, signed off by Joe Biden, that TikTok had to either sell or get banned, effectively. Now, it's not quite as straightforward as it sounds. It sounds like all of a sudden TikTok is going to disappear. Although, last Thursday, TikTok did say that they are going to basically turn off for the United States. So it could disappear. We'll see what way that goes. But not necessarily because of this new law, in the sense of the United States imposing this law, forcing TikTok to disappear, basically, if they didn't sell the platform, or the United States part of TikTok, which they said technically it's not possible to do anyway, as far as TikTok was concerned, regarding the actual technology. But that got me thinking, it did. I started looking into the potential reasons for this ban, and there's one, two little bits and pieces floating around online. I thought, hang on, I won't make my own mind up. So I started going through the terms and conditions on my TikTok. I've got TikTok, what have you, I've got to just get rid of it, I think. I'm not in the United States, so it isn't banned here, but I think it should be, quite frankly. Especially now I've been reading through the terms and conditions. There's a few things here that I've been jotting down with my chalk and my blackboard, things I noticed in the terms and conditions, and I thought, bloody hell, really? I just think that's why. It's a bit like the driverless cars and all that, and the Tesla and other car manufacturers basically secretly recording footage while you're driving and stuff, and doing other precarious things. A bit of dogging, maybe, it is. They end up on another website, they do. But anyway, the terms of service. Do you know what they record from you when you're using your TikTok? Your keystrokes, which aren't keys, your stripes, swipes, and stuff like that. Any little signatures you do online, unlocking your phone, all that sort of stuff. Copy your keystrokes. Also, right, off-platform activity. So they're basically tracking all your activity. But off-platform. But what does that actually mean? It means that other applications that you use on other devices can be tracked via TikTok. On other devices that doesn't even have the app on. So if you think you've been playing safe, oh no, we'll just do TikTok on this phone, blah 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 blah. No, you're not. They're literally gathering data from all those devices. Yeah, I thought that was a bit dodgy, let alone some keystrokes. They're collecting all the usual data that you kind of expect, for advertising and all that sort of stuff, and your preferences. But it got me thinking also, because I read somewhere about the First Amendment regarding non-governmental interference with your freedom of expression and what have you, your freedom of speech. Because obviously the TikTok is used as a tool to be able to do that, a platform to be able to do that. I don't quite 100% buy that, to be fair, because you could just literally shout, couldn't you? It's just modern times with the technology as it is, and people do use these platforms, even though they shouldn't. It'd be funny. I didn't realise it was as bad as this. I knew it was bad. I didn't think it was going to be as bad as this. So this is all about control and weaponisation of not the data necessarily, but of you. Well, actually, they're collecting the data to know how to weaponise you. If that makes any sense, I'll get into a bit more detail in a minute. But it becomes. Is it a First Amendment issue, or does that get completely wiped out because of a national security threat, for which TikTok, ByteDance, which owns TikTok, is considered to be because the law basically in China and Chinese companies whatever can request data sharing from these apps. Now, when I read things like, for instance, from the Department of Department of National Security, Department of National Security, and they've actually already managed to take out a bot army or a botnet. And this particular botnet was basically putting malware onto people's routers, directly onto their routers via these applications. Usually routers that haven't updated their old routers, but generally most people have a lot of people have their routers for donkey's years. They just stick with them because they work, even though they need upgrading. Just upgrade mine actually to the latest one on Orange. And also there's another thing as well, they managed to circumvent or get rid of, or whatever I'd call it, was a thing called a Bolt or Volt Typhoon or something. And this was actually a way of attacking your text communication systems. So, like for instance, all your telecommunications, even not just done online, your VoIP, and so they gave recommendations that you need to get rid of all those, like Messenger. Get rid of Messenger and make sure you use WhatsApp instead of, for instance, for argument's sake, because they were being hacked by this bot typhoon thing, and you have to ask yourself. Why they want to do that? Well, they want to do that because of manipulation, and you are the ones to be manipulated. Well, it's the same with all social media, to be fair. At the end of the day, social media isn't free. See, when it's free, you are the product. And when you consider applications like TikTok, where it says you are the product, or you are effectively an unknowing spy. You see, this platform is able to cross-reference this data across all other data, and it can find your vulnerabilities. It can work out what your vulnerabilities are. Let's say, for instance, you've got a mistress. Oh, I wish. Anyway, say you've got a mistress, what have you. They can work that out. They can cross-reference your not necessarily your direct interactions, but your connections with these other people's devices. Your mistress, for instance, I don't know. Or maybe you work in a government institution or a building, or maybe you work for the National Security Services in the United States, or anywhere. Because it's not just the United States, it's just that the United States has actually decided to do something about it. And actually, to be fair, it was Joe Biden just signed it off, but what the funny story behind it is, Donald Trump, when he was the President of the United States, he did sign one of his little executive orders with his giant signature with a marker pen, and drooling at the same time, he does, which got circumvented in the courts because it was deemed it wasn't legal, you see. So anyway, more recently though, Donald Trump's just realised, it's really handy TikTok, I've managed to get a lot more young people because of TikTok. And he did. He might not, get me funny, the narrow margin it was, he could have lost if it wasn't for TikTok. You could argue that. Look at Nigel Farage, what he's doing in the United Kingdom with TikTok, constantly putting little videos up. Well, basically lying to you, but you know how they do. So that is obviously a major issue. The thing is, though, you see, now Donald Trump likes it. How would he stop it now? I don't know if he can actually stop the law itself, because the law's passed and it's in law. But the easiest way for him to actually stop the effectiveness of this law, the banning of TikTok, don't get me wrong, it's not just going to disappear. I'll explain in a minute. It's not, but he can actually do something else. He can actually instruct the Department of Justice, for instance. I think Department of Justice. Yeah, I suppose it is. Department of Justice? Anyway, they can basically tell the the authorities to say, don't investigate or don't act on the investigations. In other words, don't take anyone to court or anything to court or for the TikTok platform, and it'll just carry on. The only thing is that last Thursday, TikTok did say that they're going to turn it off. Literally turn it off for the United States. So, whether via IP or whatever, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. Maybe if you've got a VPN, maybe you can still watch it. In a day, some platforms you can get away with doing that. Unfortunately, other platforms you can't, because they say, no, you're using a VPN, we don't allow you to hide yourself effectively. So, yeah, it's what it could be in the goal of that. It's obviously manipulating people. It's also potentially with this, I can't remember if it's Bolt or Volt, maybe you know, please leave in the comments down below, Bolt or Volt Typhoon, and the potential goal of that would be to take out communications, to get into the telephone networks and online systems, to actually take them out. It's a bit like a fire sale, I suppose. It is extremely worrying, it really is, that even though we're not at war with them, that they're already preparing for war. Okay, that's kind of what you're supposed to do, I suppose. But these are all, at the moment, currently, what we're trying to do is to influence people, create, trying to manipulate your perceptions. We saw that with other platforms regarding Facebook, when Cambridge Analytica had control of a whole load of contacts, used them to infiltrate and spread misinformation, propaganda. And that is really low-key stuff. This is a relatively small organisation that managed to do that, earning huge amounts of money. Getting people in, unsavouries into positions of power. Or being paid to influence Brexit. And you can argue the same thing with Donald Trump, work for or against these manipulations. They can take time, but when you control create a narrative, and then you can control the narrative, and if there's an element of truth in that narrative, well, then there's a possibility you're going to be able to push that into the mindset of a lot of people, a lot of Americans or British citizens, etc., etc. So my feeling with TikTok, even though on it, I think it needs to be blocked. I'll tell you what it is sometimes what you have to do is you have to say, well, are we better off being safe, or should we be, or could we be sorry? Do you really want to take the risk? And the risk is certainly there. Connections have already been made between this platform and some rather dubious acts by China. So, if you're doing your job properly, as Chief of National Security, well then, quite frankly, you've got no choice, you've got to do it. But like I said, the app, if you've got the app on your phone already, it might still work. Unless they turn it off. Unless TikTok actually turns it off. They said they would, but we'll see. That'll keep on working. You'll still be able to upload videos. But what you won't be able to do is get updates. What you won't be able to do is download the app onto other devices or replace the app on yours. Uninstall it and reinstall it. You won't be able to do that. And in time, it'll be rendered useless because everything progresses and the app will basically stay behind, and it won't work. And there'll be a bigger security risk because there'll be no protections there for you at all. So anyway, that's something to bear thinking about. If you have got TikTok or those kind of apps on your devices, and there is, hello Sebastian, and there is a distinct possibility that there is a major security implication of having them on your devices, get rid of them and do everything you can to make sure that they're gone. I know I'm going to. Anyway, what say you? Please leave it in the comments down below. Do you like that, do you? He goes. So yeah, if you want to support the channel, you can do it on Patreon and buy us a coffee, and links down below. And you might feed a dog one, or there's another one here, two. Yeah, just the cuts there because my fat belly is blocking her. So yeah. Anyway, we're doing rewilding here in France. We're planting loads of trees. There's a link down below for that as well if you're interested. Anyway, it's time for me to go. So I say toodaloo, you know. You say toodaloo, Sebastian. Toodaloo. Oh, okay. Very nice to meet you. Is it your way of telling me I'm hungry? Probably.